Welcome to Fluent English Podcast.
From Spoken English Hour.
Stop scrolling for 1 second. I want to tell you something before we even say hello.
James, we haven't even said hi to everyone yet.
I know, but this is important, Grace. Last night, I almost didn't record this episode.
Wait, what? You didn't tell me that.
I'm telling everyone now. I sat at my desk for 2 hours. 2 hours. I had the microphone right in front of me, and I just didn't press record.
Why not?
Because a small voice in my head kept saying, "Not yet. Wait until you feel ready." And you know what? That voice almost won.
So what happened? Clearly you're here now.
One tiny rule saved me. A rule so small it sounds almost silly. And that rule is exactly what we're teaching you today.
Everyone, stay right here. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to give you a simple tool. A tool that can help you speak more English, finish more goals, and stop waiting for the perfect moment that never really comes.
And trust me, if it worked on me last night at 11 o'clock, half asleep, it can work for you too.
Let's go say a proper hello first, though.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fluent English Podcast from our channel, Spoken English Hour. I'm James.
And I'm Grace. If this is your first time with us, we make this show for one simple reason. We want you to speak English like a real person, in real situations, with real feelings. No boring grammar drills here.
And if you listened to our very first episode, thank you. You already know our little mantra. Every day is a new page. Today, we're turning that page and starting something new.
Before we jump into today's topic, I want to give you a small piece of advice, something that will help you get much more out of this episode.
Go on, Grace.
Grab a notebook. It can be a real paper notebook or just a notes app on your phone. It doesn't matter. What matters is this. Every time you hear a new word or a useful sentence in this episode, pause the video for 5 seconds and write it down.
5 seconds. Just enough time to press pause, write 2 or 3 words, and press play again.
Exactly. You don't need to write full sentences, just the word and maybe a short example. This small habit, writing while you listen, will help you remember these words much longer than only listening.
And here's a second tip. At the end of this episode, we're going to ask you a question, a real question about your own life. Please don't just think about the answer in your head. Write it in the comments below, in English. Even 2 or 3 sentences are perfect.
Writing your answer does 2 things. First, it helps you practice real English writing, not just listening. Second, it helps you remember today's lesson much better because you connected it to your own life.
So, notebook ready? Comment section open? Good. Let's start.
James, tell everyone the full story now. What actually happened last night?
Okay, so a little background first. For the last 3 months, I've wanted to learn how to cook. Real cooking, not just heating up food in the microwave.
I remember you mentioning this.
Right. And every single day, I told myself, today I'll cook something new. But every evening, I came home tired and I thought, I'm too tired today. I'll start properly tomorrow when I have more energy and more time.
How many tomorrows happened, would you guess?
Honestly, about 90. 3 whole months of tomorrows.
Wow, 90 days of waiting for the perfect moment.
Exactly. And it wasn't only cooking. Last night, it was this podcast. I sat there thinking, I need to prepare more. I need to feel calmer. I need a better microphone setup. My brain kept giving me new excuses, one after another.
That's such a common feeling. I think almost everyone listening right now knows exactly what you're describing.
I'm sure they do. Waiting to feel ready is one of the most human things in the world. The problem is that feeling of being ready almost never arrives on its own. It has to be created through action, not through waiting.
So, how did you finally press record?
I remembered something a friend taught me years ago. She called it the 5-minute rule, and it changed everything in about 30 seconds.
Okay, everyone, this is the heart of today's episode. Let's slow down and really explain this properly.
All right, here's how it works, and it's beautifully simple. Whenever you don't feel like doing something, whether that's studying English, exercising, cleaning your house, or starting a difficult task at work, you make a small promise to yourself.
What kind of promise?
You say, I will only do this for 5 minutes, just 5. After 5 minutes, if I truly want to stop, I can stop with no guilt at all.
That's it? Just 5 minutes?
That's genuinely it. And here's the surprising part. Most of the time, once you start, you don't want to stop after 5 minutes. Starting is actually the hardest part of almost anything. Once your body and your brain are already moving, continuing feels much, much easier.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like pushing a heavy box across the floor. The hardest moment is right at the beginning, when the box isn't moving yet.
Perfect example. Once the box is sliding, you barely need to push anymore. Your brain works exactly the same way with tasks you're avoiding.
So last night you told yourself just 5 minutes of recording.
Exactly that. I said, James, just press record and talk for 5 minutes. If it's terrible, delete it and go to sleep. That thought removed all the pressure. And once I started talking, 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20, then a whole hour of preparation for today.
I love this so much because it removes the biggest lie our brain tells us.
Which lie is that?
The lie that says this task will take forever and it will be exhausting. 5 minutes sounds easy, almost boring, and that's exactly why it works so well.
Right. Our brain protects us from big, scary tasks, but it doesn't feel afraid of something as small as 5 minutes.
Let's connect this directly to learning English because that's really why everyone is here with us today.
Please, go ahead.
Imagine you plan to study English for 1 hour today, but you're tired and 1 hour sounds impossible right now. What normally happens?
People usually skip the whole hour completely. They think, if I can't do the whole hour properly, why start at all?
Exactly right. But now imagine changing your promise. Instead of 1 hour, you tell yourself, I will only watch 5 minutes of this podcast today. Just 5 minutes, and then I can stop.
Suddenly, that feels completely possible. Anyone can find 5 minutes.
And once you're actually listening, once you're already hearing new words and interesting stories, stopping after 5 minutes becomes surprisingly difficult. You'll probably want to finish this whole episode.
That's honestly a clever trick to play on your own brain.
It really is. And it isn't cheating. It's simply understanding how your mind naturally works and using that knowledge kindly for your own benefit.
Grace, I know you love bringing us real stories about real people. Do you have one for today?
I do, actually. Do you know the writer Haruki Murakami?
I've heard the name. He writes novels, right?
Yes, very famous ones. But here's what many people don't know. For years, Murakami struggled with writing regularly. He owned a small jazz bar, and his life was busy and a little chaotic.
So how did he change?
He built one tiny habit first before writing even one word of his novels. He decided to run, just a little, every single morning. Not a long run, sometimes only 10 or 15 minutes.
Just like our 5-minute rule, but with running shoes instead of a microphone.
Exactly the same idea. He didn't force himself to run a full marathon on day one. He simply told himself, a short run today. That's all. And slowly, day after day, that short run became a long, comfortable habit.
And the writing.
The same pattern followed. He started writing for short periods, a small, manageable amount of pages each day, never forcing himself into exhausting all-night writing sessions. Slowly, book after book, year after year, that small daily habit created an enormous body of work.
So his secret wasn't some huge burst of motivation.
Not at all. His secret was showing up in small, honest pieces, again and again, even on days when he didn't feel inspired.
That's such a comforting idea, actually. It means you don't need to feel like a superhero every single day.
You really don't. You just need 5 minutes and a little bit of honesty with yourself.
I have a smaller, less famous story too, if you'd like to hear it.
Please, go ahead.
My neighbor, an older woman named Carol, wanted to learn Spanish for years. She kept buying books and apps, but she never actually opened them. One day, her granddaughter gave her some simple advice. Grandma, just open the app for 5 minutes. That's the only rule.
And?
Carol laughed and said 5 minutes is nothing, but she tried it anyway that same evening. 6 months later, she was having short conversations with a Spanish-speaking neighbor down the street. Slowly, but confidently.
From 5 minutes to real conversations. That's That's beautiful, James.
It really is. And notice something important here. Nobody in these stories suddenly became perfect or fearless. They simply stopped waiting for a feeling that wasn't arriving, and they started with something small instead.
Let's talk about why this little trick actually works inside our brains, because there's real science behind it.
I'm curious about this part.
Our brain has a part that acts like a guard, protecting us from things that feel difficult, uncomfortable, or uncertain. When a task feels huge, like study English for 1 hour or clean the entire house, this guard becomes alert and creates feelings of stress or avoidance.
So the guard basically slams the door shut.
Exactly. But when a task feels tiny, like 5 minutes, the guard doesn't see it as a threat at all. It simply lets you walk through the door without any resistance.
And once we're already inside the room, so to speak, we usually don't want to leave right away.
Right. There's also a small chemical reward involved. When you finish even a tiny piece of a task, your brain releases a small amount of a chemical called dopamine. This chemical creates a light feeling of satisfaction and encouragement.
So finishing 5 minutes still gives us a small reward feeling, even though it was such a small task.
Precisely. And that small reward often makes you want to continue for a few more minutes, chasing that same pleasant feeling. This is why 5 minutes so often becomes 15 or 30 without much effort at all.
It's almost like tricking a small, nervous animal into walking through a door by making the door seem small and unthreatening.
That's such a fun way to describe it, James, and it's completely accurate.
All right, everyone, here's a good moment to pause the episode for just a minute.
James is right. Let's ask you something personal now.
Think about one thing you've been avoiding lately. Maybe it's studying English every day, maybe it's exercising, maybe it's finally starting a new YouTube channel, or even having a difficult conversation with someone.
Got something in mind? Good. Now ask yourself this question. What would happen if I only promised myself 5 minutes of that task today?
Would 5 minutes feel possible? Would it feel less scary than the full task? Pause the video right now and write down your answer in your notebook. One sentence is enough. Something like, my 5-minute task today is speaking English out loud alone in my room.
Take your time. We'll wait right here for you.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you wrote something down. That small sentence you just wrote might be the beginning of a real, lasting habit.
Grace, do you have a personal story about this rule too? You always seem to have one hiding somewhere.
You know me too well. Actually, yes. Do you remember when I told you about quitting my old job back in our first episode?
I remember. That was a heavy story.
Right. Well, after I left that job, I felt lost for a long time. I wanted to start this podcast, actually, almost a full year before we finally recorded episode 1.
A whole year? I had no idea it took that long.
It did. Every single day, I imagined this exact podcast in my head. 2 friends, talking naturally, helping people learn English. But every time I sat down to plan it, I felt overwhelmed. I thought about scripts, microphones, editing, and posting schedules all at once. It felt like climbing an entire mountain in one single step.
So what finally moved you forward?
One evening, I told myself, Grace, just write for 5 minutes. Not a whole script, not a whole plan, just 5 minutes of simple notes. I opened my notebook and I wrote a single sentence. A podcast where 2 friends help people speak real English.
That's the whole idea for our show, right there.
Exactly. That tiny 5-minute note became the seed for everything we're doing today. It didn't feel important at the time. It felt small, almost too simple to matter.
But it clearly mattered a great deal.
It did. And that's the real lesson hiding inside the 5-minute rule. Small, unimportant-looking actions often quietly build enormous things given enough time.
So the next time someone feels like their small step is too tiny to matter,
Remind them of a 5-minute note that eventually became an entire podcast.
Grace, should we give everyone some real practical English now? Sentences they can actually use today?
Absolutely. Let's build some useful sentences around today's topic. Everyone, please repeat these out loud with us. Speaking out loud, even alone, helps your mouth and brain remember new patterns much faster than silent reading.
Here's our first sentence. Repeat after me. I will just try this for 5 minutes.
One more time, a little slower. I will Just try this for 5 minutes.
Great. You can use this sentence for almost anything. Studying, cleaning, exercising, even difficult phone calls.
Here's our second sentence. Starting is the hardest part, not finishing.
Notice this sentence uses not to compare two ideas, starting versus finishing. This is a useful pattern for expressing opinions clearly.
Try building your own sentence with that same pattern. For example, speaking is the scariest part, not listening. Or waking up early is the hardest part, not staying awake.
Our third sentence for today, I don't need to feel ready, I just need to begin.
This sentence is incredibly powerful and incredibly simple. Notice how short and clear each part is. Short sentences like this are often much more natural in spoken English than long, complicated ones.
One more useful sentence, especially for language learners. Even 5 minutes of English today is better than 0 minutes.
This sentence uses a comparison between two numbers, 5 and 0, to make a strong, simple point. You could change the numbers depending on your own goals. Even 10 pages today is better than 0 pages, for example.
Try saying all 4 sentences again, one after another, without stopping. This builds your speaking rhythm and confidence.
Take a moment now and write your own personal sentence using one of these patterns about your own English goal.
For example, mine would be, I will just try speaking English for 5 minutes tonight.
Perfect example, James. Everyone, please try building yours too, and remember to write it in your notebook.
Let's slow down now and properly explain some useful words from today's episode. Please write each of these down along with a short example.
Our first word is overwhelmed. This means feeling like something is too big or too difficult to handle, almost like too much water pouring over you at once.
Example sentence, she felt overwhelmed by all the work on her desk. Or, don't feel overwhelmed. Just focus on one small step.
Our second word is resistance. This means a feeling of not wanting to do something, a kind of inner pushing back feeling.
Example, I felt strong resistance before starting my homework. Or, the 5-minute rule helps you push through resistance.
Third word, habit. A habit is something you do regularly, almost automatically, without thinking too much about it.
Example, reading before bed became a comfortable habit for me. Or, small habits build a bigger, better life.
Fourth word, manageable. Something manageable feels possible to handle, not too big or too stressful.
Example, 5 minutes feels manageable, even on a busy day. Or, break big goals into smaller, manageable pieces.
Our fifth word is a phrase, actually, show up. In this context, it doesn't mean physically arriving somewhere. It simply means starting, being present, and doing the small task in front of you.
Example, Murakami showed up to write every single day, rain or shine. Or, just show up for 5 minutes. That's the whole secret.
Sixth and final word today, consistency, which we mentioned briefly in our first episode too. Consistency means doing something regularly over a long period of time instead of doing it perfectly just once.
Example, consistency beats perfection every single time. Or, 5 minutes daily builds more consistency than one long session weekly.
Wonderful. Everyone, please go back through your notes right now and check that you've written all 6 words. Overwhelmed, resistance, habit, manageable, show up, and consistency.
If you missed any, feel free to pause here and add them before we continue.
Let's give everyone something practical to actually do today, right after finishing this episode.
Yes, 3 small, honest actions. Nothing complicated.
First action, choose one task you've been avoiding. It could be English practice, exercise, cleaning, or something at work.
Just one task, not 5 tasks, not a whole life plan, one single task.
Second action, set a timer for 5 minutes using your phone or a clock. Then begin that task, telling yourself clearly, only 5 minutes, then I can stop.
Remember, stopping after 5 minutes is completely allowed. There's no failure here no matter what happens.
Third action, after the 5 minutes finish, notice how you feel. Do you genuinely want to stop? Or does continuing feel surprisingly easy now?
Either answer is perfectly fine. The goal isn't forcing yourself to continue. The goal is simply proving to your brain that starting wasn't as scary as it imagined.
Write down what happened afterward in one honest sentence. For example, I planned 5 minutes, but I continued for 20. Or even, I stopped after 5 minutes, and that's okay too.
Either way, you showed up today. And that alone matters more than most people realize.
Actually, James, I have one more small story, and I think it fits perfectly right here.
Go ahead. I always enjoy these.
A listener actually sent this story to me before we even launched this channel. He wanted to practice speaking English with real people, not just apps or books. But every time he walked past a coffee shop, he felt too nervous to order in English.
That nervous feeling is so common. I think almost every language learner knows it well.
Exactly. So one morning, he made himself a small, very specific promise. He said, I will only speak English for 5 minutes, just while ordering my coffee. After that, I can go back to my own language for the rest of the day.
Such a small focused goal. Not speak English all day, just speak English for 5 minutes, right here, right now.
He walked in and ordered his coffee slowly in simple English. 1 coffee, please. Medium size. No sugar, thank you. That's genuinely all it took.
And how did it feel afterward?
He told me it felt like nothing at first, almost too easy. But something interesting happened. The barista smiled, answered him kindly in English, and even asked a small follow-up question about his day.
A real, natural conversation born from 5 minutes of courage.
Exactly. He went back the next morning and the next, always with that same small 5-minute promise. Within a few months, ordering coffee in English felt completely normal to him, almost boring in the best possible way.
That word, boring, is actually a wonderful sign of progress. When something scary becomes boring, it usually means you've truly mastered it.
Beautifully said, James. And notice something important here. He didn't wait until his English felt perfect before speaking. He simply gave himself 5 honest minutes, again and again, and let the confidence grow naturally, one small coffee order at a time.
This might genuinely be one of the easiest ways for anyone listening today to try our 5-minute rule this very week.
I completely agree. Order something in English. Ask a simple question in English. Talk to yourself out loud in English for 5 minutes, even alone in your kitchen. The task barely matters. What matters is showing up honestly for those 5 small minutes.
Grace, before we finish, I want to mention something important. Something people sometimes misunderstand about this rule.
Please, go ahead.
The 5-minute rule isn't magic. It won't remove every difficult feeling in your life. Some days, even 5 minutes will feel hard, and that's completely normal too.
That's such an important point. This isn't about pretending everything feels easy all the time.
Exactly. It's simply a gentle tool, a small door you can open even on your most tired, most unmotivated days. Some days you'll walk through that door and stay for hours. Other days, you'll walk through, stay for exactly 5 minutes, and that will still count as a real success.
Beautifully said, James. Progress isn't always big and dramatic. Sometimes progress is simply 5 honest minutes repeated patiently, day after day.
All right, everyone, we're almost at the end of today's episode. Let's bring everything together now.
Today, we learned about the 5-minute rule, a simple way to defeat waiting, fear, and overwhelming feelings. We heard about James almost skipping this very recording, about Murakami and his short morning runs, about Carol learning Spanish, and about my own 5-minute note that eventually became this podcast.
We also practiced some real useful sentences together and learned 6 new words: overwhelmed, resistance, habit, manageable, show up, and consistency.
Now, here's your question for today, and please write your honest answer in the comments below, in English.
Here it is. What is one small task you've been avoiding, and what would happen if you gave it just 5 minutes today?
Take your time answering. 2 or 3 sentences are perfect. Maybe something like, I've been avoiding speaking English out loud. Today, I will try it for 5 minutes, even if I feel a little embarrassed.
We will genuinely read your comments, every single one, whenever we possibly can.
And if today's episode helped you even a little, please subscribe to Spoken English Hour and share this episode with someone who often says, I'll start tomorrow.
Tomorrow always seems to have plenty of room for waiting. Today only needs 5 minutes.
Before we go, let's quickly review your notes from today. You should have 6 new words written down, at least 1 personal sentence using our practice patterns, and 1 honest answer to today's question.
If you're missing any of these 3 things, feel free to rewatch small sections of this episode before moving on. Learning slowly and thoroughly beats rushing through things quickly.
Next episode, we're going to talk about something we touched on briefly today, the fear of sounding embarrassed while speaking a new language, and exactly what to do about it.
That fear stops so many learners from ever opening their mouths, even when they know plenty of words and grammar rules already.
It really does. Knowing English quietly inside your head is very different from speaking it out loud in front of another person. We'll spend a whole episode just on that gap and how to close it, slowly and kindly.
So bring your notebook again and bring 5 honest minutes with you too.
And if you're new here, this is a great moment to subscribe so this next episode arrives right in front of you instead of getting lost somewhere in your feed. Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
You didn't waste these minutes. You just practiced real English, and you learned a small tool that might quietly change your entire day.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you very soon for 5 more honest minutes.